Talking today to Oviosu, who is the CEO of Paga, which is one of the mobile payment systems in Nigeria. Tayo, when did the company launch?
Yeah, the company launched in April 2009, and we launched to the general public in February of 2011.
What took so long to get to market?
Yeah, well, a number of things. Well, first of all was the regulatory process. It took us a year to get to approval in principle, so it's a two-step regulatory process.
Right.
Approval in principle, which allows you to launch to the general public, but does not allow you to do any marketing. And then a full license, which we then got. So we got the approval in principle in November 2010, and we got the full license in November 2011.
In Nigeria, the mobile operators are not the people who are providing mobile money services. Describe to me how it is and why it's different.
Yeah, well, the central bank went through a long process to really figure this out, and by every indication, the mobile operators want to be in this market. I think, even though I'm somewhat biased, I think they've made a correct decision for the country from a risk management perspective. I think, if you look at what the situation is in the banking sector, only 20% of Nigerians are banked, 80% unbanked, and so essentially if you allow the telcos to come into this space, you'll be putting the banking of 80% in the hands of a few companies who also control the telecommunications, which are critical to the country.
Yeah.
Essentially, I think a very risky position for the country. So I think in that regard they've made a right decision. The way it's set up in Nigeria is to allow for banks and third parties to run the service. And the telcos have a strong role to play. So we partner with them, we work very closely with them on several levels. But I think the way it's set up allows for more surety and proper regulation by the central bank itself. So any company that is in this space has one regulator.
And so how many players have entered the market in some shape or form?
Yeah, well, 15 players have licenses.
Yes.
And I think about 6 have
Made some sort of launch.
Some launch, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And in terms of your own launch, what are the numbers looking like in terms of both users and agents?
Yeah.
And
we've seen pretty good growth with almost no marketing. The level of marketing we've done right now is still nothing compared to what we have to do.
Yeah.
We're currently about 128,000 users. To give you a sense, today's July 3rd, right? And on June 4th, we hit 100,000 users.
Right.
And so we were making good progress on the user side. We
Yeah.
have over 850 agents in 19 cities across Nigeria.
Yeah.
From a transaction volume perspective, we've done over $16 million in transaction volume.
An average transaction is?
It's about 3,000 to 4,000 naira,
Okay.
I would say.
And what's that in US?
In US dollars, that's circa $20, $25.
Okay, so
average, yeah.
so still small but still quite large.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And what are your targets in terms of where you want to get to, by this time next year, and where you want to get to in 3 years' time?
Yeah. So this time next year, I certainly hope we're getting close to the million user
Yeah.
mark. I feel confident that we'll get to 1 million users next year.
Yeah.
3 years from now, we're looking to get to 15 million users.
Okay.
This is a demand side business, and we think once you get a critical mass, then
It'll
really
take off.
picks up from that point.
And you're planning to be about half of the market, so the total market will be?
We think about 30 million.
Okay. Yeah.
Exactly.
And thus far, what's proving most popular amongst the services that you're offering on Paga?
Most popular is bill payments, and then the purchase of airtime.
Okay.
And I think the reason for that is because you have, when I'm paying a bill, it's either myself and Paga involved if I'm paying by myself, or one agent,
Yes.
agent who is close to my house. Similarly, when I'm buying airtime.
Yeah.
So those two have really picked up, and we think now that as we've now built the critical mass, a mass of agents are coming, and we're going to be doing a lot more experiential marketing below the line and push and awareness, that we will see a greater push and use of money transfer.
Yeah.
Which we think is actually what solves the most critical need in Nigeria today, because there's no safe and efficient way to transfer money across Nigeria outside of the banking sector.
Tayo, thanks for talking to me today.
Thank you very much.